A lot of veterans think that C in C-File stands for complete, as in a complete copy of everything the military has ever had on you. And I used to think the same thing. However, it doesn't. It stands for claims. And that one word changes a lot of what's actually in that file and what you should do with it. And guess what? Most veterans don't find out what a C file really is until they really need it. Today we're going to fix that. So, what is a C file? The bottom line is this. It's the VA's record of your benefit claims. That's it. Not your whole military life. Now, keep in mind, there are 3 different sets of records that you need to be aware of, and veterans tend to get them mixed up all the time. You have a military personal file that documents your service, such as assignments and evaluations, awards, training, and your separation papers. Your service treatment records documents the medical care that you got while you were in. And your C file documents your history with your VA benefits claims. Think of the C file as your roadmap of your entire history of the VA. Every claim you've ever filed, every exam, and every decision. Some of your military records get pulled into it for sure, but that doesn't automatically mean that it contains everything about your military history or every medical record that exists. There are overlaps with other record types, but they're not the same thing. Now, every veteran's C file is different. If you've only filed for one claim, for example, yours may be pretty thin. But if you've been dealing with the VA for years, it could be hundreds, if not thousands of pages long. And here's what you might find in there. Your original claim applications, your DD-214, your service treatment records that the VA pulled, your C&P exam reports, those disability benefits questionnaires or DBQs, medical opinions and buddy statements and your personal statements, and letters between you and the VA about your rating decisions, and of course your rating code sheets. And this is the wild part. You probably will also find duplicate pages and documents that are out of order and names that don't make any sense right away. And that's normal. A C file isn't put together like a book that you just sit down and read. It's a working pile of records built up over time. Okay, so let's say your file is thousands of pages. Where do you even start with it? Now keep in mind, some documents matter way more than others. The first one is going to be your rating decision. That's the VA telling you what they decided and why. If a condition was denied, the decision should tell you why and what part of that claim wasn't established. Maybe they agreed with you that you have a disability, but said that there just wasn't enough evidence tying it to your service. Or they may have granted you a service connection, but gave you a much lower percentage than you expected. And knowing the VA's reasoning tells you what else you need to go look at. The next one is the C&P exam report. This report shows you what the examiner actually wrote, what your reported symptoms were, your medical history and test results, your range of motion numbers, and how the condition affects your day-to-day life. And there may be separate medical opinions in there too, saying whether the examiner thinks that your condition is connected to service or not. And here's the thing. These documents will have a major influence on the outcome of your claim. So if there is a problem, this is usually where it lives. The last one is your rating code sheet. It shows your service-connected conditions, the diagnostic codes and percentages, and effective dates. I have a separate video about static disabilities that also shows these rating codes. So I'll link that one for anyone who wants to dig into that in the description below. So why would you want your C file in the first place? Well, there can be a few reasons actually. The first is you want to understand why a claim was denied. Your decision letter gives you the explanation, but the C file lets you look into the documents behind that explanation. If the VA denied you because the examiner said that your condition was less likely than not related to your service, reading the actual opinion shows you what records they actually reviewed and whether that reasoning matches your history. Now, I can't stress that enough. Just because you disagree with the conclusion doesn't mean the examiner was wrong. but you should see what the conclusion was actually based on. The second reason is to check the accuracy of your C&P exam. Did the examiner describe your symptoms accurately? Did the report reflect what you actually told them? Are there statements in there that conflict with your medical records? And keep in mind, disagreeing with the medical opinion is not the same as finding the factual mistake. If a report says that you never had a certain surgery, but your records clearly document that surgery, well, that's a factual issue worth addressing. The third reason is to see whether your evidence actually made it into the record at all. Maybe you submitted a private doctor's report or a buddy statement. You can look through the C file to see if it's in there. But if important evidence doesn't show up anywhere in the claim record, then that's definitely something worth investigating. And the last reason is to understand an older claim. A lot of veterans filed claims years, if not decades ago, and don't remember exactly what they claimed or why the VA decided why they did. The C file can help reconstruct that history for you. Now let me be straight with you about what a C file will not do. I want to keep your expectations honest here. It doesn't automatically tell you whether you should file a new claim or challenge an old decision. It doesn't guarantee you'll find a VA error. It doesn't replace your current medical evidence. And it's not a complete copy of every military, private medical, or VA healthcare record that exists. Think of it as a tool. It helps you understand the record that the VA has built around your claims. But you still have to figure out what's relevant to the question that you're trying to answer. So now, let's say you get your C file and it's 2,000 pages long. Don't start on page 1 trying to read the whole thing. That'll just leave you frustrated before you find anything useful. Instead, start with one question. Maybe the question is, why was my back claim denied? Or why did they only give me 10% instead of 20%? What did the examiner actually say about my condition? Did they actually receive my private medical opinion? And once you know the question, go straight to the document most likely to answer it. If you're reviewing a denial, start with the decision letter. Read the VA's reasoning about it, and try to figure out what part of that claim is missing. Then pull the C&P exam and any medical opinion for that condition and compare it to your records and what you remember telling the examiner. Again, you're not trying to memorialize the whole C file here. You're trying to answer one specific question at a time. Now, you want to stay organized, but you don't need some elaborate filing system to get that started. Here's what I would do. On your computer, create a folder called Original C File, and leave the original copy of your C file untouched in that folder. Then make a second folder for just the documents that matter, and save the copies of your most recent rating decision, the C&P exam that you're reviewing, any medical opinions, your code sheet, and any evidence that you submitted with that condition. Try to use simple names like back rating decision or back C&P exam or back medical opinion. That's way easier than trying to organize every page in the whole file all at once. And if the documents in your record are actually searchable, you can search for your condition, the exam date or the examiner's name, or terms like DBQ and medical opinion. Now keep in mind that some older documents that are in the C file are just scanned images and won't be searchable. So don't assume that a document is missing just because your search doesn't find it. You may have to dig deeper. So now let's talk briefly about how to even request the file in the first place. You have the right to request your own VA claims records through a Privacy Act request. Now I'm not going to walk through the entire process here because I already have a step-by-step video on how to request your C file. I'll link it on the end screen as well as the description of this video. And if you only need a specific document, say like a recent C&P exam report, you may not even need the whole file at all. And I've got a video on that one as well. Now I want you to hear this clearly. Requesting your C file does not pause or extend the deadline for challenging a VA decision. If you received a decision and you're coming up on a deadline, do not sit around and wait for your C file before you act. You need to reach out and talk to a VA accredited VSO rep or a claims agent or an attorney if you need help understanding your options. So here's the bottom line. Your C file is not a secret file and it's not a complete copy of everything the military's ever recorded about you. It's the VA's record of your benefit claims, what you submitted, and what evidence that they gathered, what the examiner reported, and how they reached their decisions. That makes it a valuable tool. But don't let the size of it overwhelm you. Start with one condition, one decision, and one question. And if this video has helped you, let me know in the comments below. And if you've already requested your C file, tell me how long it took, because that's one question I get asked the most. Some people say months, some people say years. I'm the Humble Veteran. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.